What are the three best things about the American self-employed estate agency model in the UK? Today, I'm joined by Chris Buckler, who is boss man of the estate agency, a self-employed model. He has experience working for one of the biggest operators of the self-employed estate agency model in the UK, and he's here today on the WatkinSofa. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So, what are the three best things about the USA self-employed estate agency model in the UK? Talk to me.
Great question. I think for me, I'm fortunate enough that I've been to the States and I've seen some of the biggest operators and how they operate in the US. And they are, if you leave the Stetsons and the cowboy hats at the door when you get back off, the plane at Gatwick or Heathrow, there's some absolute gold in what the self-employed, I mean, everything over there is self-employed, right? You don't have people realistically employed. So we don't have here in the UK a British dream, right? Where they have the American dream. So the entrepreneurial factor of how do I go and grow my business, lead generate and run something that's meaningful, something profitable. And we constantly look at our profit and our net worth and our investment in properties and everything else. That element, if you can bottle it, like I say, leave the Uncle Joe bit at home and bring it over here, I think is so powerful. And what I don't necessarily see here is the entrepreneurial spirit amongst agents.
This is almost culture, forward thinking. Would you say that's the first? Because you said three, so
Yeah, I'd say culture without shadow of a doubt, forward thinking and if I was to put this all in one, ability to want to evolve and get better and better and better at what they do.
don't you see that with British people making sweeping statement?
On the whole, no.
Why do you think that is?
Because we don't, when I went to school, it was if you do well at college, you go to university. If you do well at university, you go and get a job. If you do really, really well, you go down to London and get a job. I was never, there was courage to say, Chris, you should go and set this up. You should go and do that up. And in fact, whenever I've set a business up, so I left a job in the city, extremely well paid to start flipping properties and then set my first estate agency up. My family, my friends, anyone I met on a night out would say, you're absolutely mad. That was a great job. Why would you go and do it? And I don't think entrepreneurship is encouraged here. And because that culture, I think, is lacking, like I say, if we can somehow push that or bring it over, then it's absolutely gold. But it's not just North America, right? If you look at the Aussie setup, there's some great agents there, and it's slightly more similar to the UK, but has a lot of similarities to the US, and the way they deal with real estate and what they do is incredible. And I think, if I'm talking a lot here, but it's that forward thinking element I think is missing here.
What's the second?
Training. So for me, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to fly to the US and Canada and around the world to learn from some of the very best estate agents that happen to be from North America, looking to see what they do. And I've brought agents with me a lot on that journey, which has been brilliant. So when you see agents come back, and simple tip, if you go onto Facebook every day, you get people's birthdays. Rather than write happy birthday on the wall, you send them a nice message saying, what are you up to? Conversation always goes to property. How's the market? What's happening? La la. Well, I tell you what, I'm actually doing a newsletter. Would it be of value if I added you to the list? Sure. So you're growing your database. You're adding 5 people a day on average, pretty much. But you're engaging with your sphere of how to go and just grow your database and add value as an estate agent. Most agents that I speak to aren't aware of the importance of database and sphere and those personal relationships. And it's very much get the property live, boards breed boards, rely on the portals. There's arguably an over-reliance, and then archive the data if they're not looking in, say
Now.
6 months. Now, yeah. And for me, that's one small element of a training piece that one of my agencies picked up, and they'll probably do, I think, I don't want to get this wrong, it's about 8 listings a year they get just from that one piece, right? So that's 8 instructions for just wishing people happy birthday and adding them to the database and then giving them value. That was maybe mentioned twice in France when we were over there. And you saw my agent write that down and goes, that's great. So our number one job as estate agents, and people won't like this, is to lead generate. We happen to, the industry is property and you've got to love people above property, but actually our number one job is to lead generate. And then people go, oh no, it's not, it's to service the client, it's to this and that and the other. That's secondary, because if you can't lead generate and constantly grow your business, you're dying. You know, you can't service clients that you don't have. And you put some great stuff out, Chris, about how to build relationships with your community and doing videos so that you're top of mind. Most agents I speak to are very, very short-termist on that approach. So if you can take some really, really good training of how do I become a business owner, how do I grow my estate agency, how do I lead generate, so it's not all door knocking, which I think is great, by the way, but people don't, on the whole, I speak to, don't like doing that, and they should, but can go and grow a business. That's really, really what I've taken from the North American models, which I think from a training element are brilliant.
What's your third and final one, mate?
I'm a big, big believer in estate agents should be, anyone in business should have a number of revenue streams to their business. So whether that's sales, lettings, investing in buy-to-let properties and getting a drip income, I really like the revenue share piece. Now, the first time I heard about it, I turned around to the lady I was with and I bashed everything. I don't like the term real estate. You Americans are like Marmite. And she was like, what's a Marmite? And I turned to the gentleman on my right and said, exactly, it won't work here. And all the things that I don't like about it. And when I got into the revenue share piece, I said, it sounds like a Herbalife pyramid scam. And the person was not happy. There's steam coming out their ears, but I didn't understand it. Now, for me, I think it's really good as long as ethically you help people that come in. So let's say, for example, Chris Watkin was to come and join the estate agency as an associate. You do a deal for, say, £10,000, under our model, because I referred you in, I'd take £400. The reason I think that's important is in the estate agency, we get to award our early adopters as if they're shareholders and give back. So it's not us giving away any of your commission to someone else. It's the percentage we would take and we would give back. Why is that important? Well, it allows us to hedonistically grow our model out and for agents to take some money from it. But ultimately, if you are recruiting and bringing people in, it allows you to create that college fund, as they'd say in the US, or that retirement fund, or whatever, you know, the university fund, whatever it might be. And it's pretty sizable. If I look at arguably the number one model is EXP in the UK, right? And if I speak to some of the early adopters, and this is what we're creating now, those guys are bringing in, you know, thousands of pounds a month, and rightly so, because they've helped Adam go and grow that business. For me, I think it's a great piece, but the bit that cannot be missing from it is you can't just recruit 20, 30 agents in and then leave the business, or you don't care for them and offer that relationship, that advice.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are people out there obviously just doing it for the money, and then there are others out there that are genuinely helping and supporting. You know, they probably only are an estate agent for 2 days a week, and the other 3 days they're helping and guiding their people. And I do genuinely believe this, that if you are recruiting someone through your self-employed estate agency model, you have a responsibility to actually help and guide them. Isn't that right?
Ethically, yes, because if we go back to the video we did previously or before or wherever people are going to watch it, you have to have that accountability and almost that business partner approach. Ethically, again, we want to see agents come in and run profitable estate agency businesses. Bringing people in and then forgetting about them doesn't work.
Thank you for your time today, Chris.
Thanks for having me.